Today we will begin our 3D op art hands. What is op art? Op art is short for optical art. It is an abstract style of art that creates an optical illusion. Op art uses distorted shapes and vibrating colors that challenge and manipulate the eye. It makes your brain think that the image is 3D or moving. This is called an illusion. The op art movement became popular in the 1960s by Bridget Riley and Victor Vasarely. They used patterns and colors to distort the viewer. Vasarely is often referred to as the grandfather of the op art movement. Here are two artworks by Bridget Riley, Pause and Blaze. Here are two artworks by Victor Vasarely, Gestalt and Vega 200. Here are some other op art images. Now I'm going to show you how to make your 3D op art hand. You're going to need a piece of white paper and a pencil. Place your hand on the blank sheet of white paper and lightly trace your hand and wrist using a pencil. You do not want the original outline of your hand to show when finished, so trace as lightly as possible. Make sure to trace your wrist going off the page. When you are tracing your fingers, make sure you are not making them too thin. If your fingers are too thin, it will make it more difficult to add your lines in the next step. This is one of the common struggles when completing this step. One way to avoid skinny fingers is to hold your pencil at a 90-degree angle. The next step is to begin adding the lines. You're going to start at the bottom of the page where your arm is. You can use a ruler to help guide you. Using a pencil, you're going to draw a straight line at the bottom of the paper and draw the line as straight across until you get to the outline of your hand. When you get to the outline of your hand, make a slight arched line over your handprint. Then draw a straight line the rest of the way across the paper. Basically, straight lines for the background and curved lines in the hand and arm. Here's how that works. Straight line across the bottom, curve when you get to your wrist, straight line to the end of the page. Continue these lines. A few tips. Make sure your curved lines line up with the straight line in the background. Do not trace your hand outline with a black marker. Place your lines pretty close together. If there is too much space between your lines, it will not look like the hand is popping off the page. Step 3 is spacing your lines. Try to keep your lines evenly spaced and continue adding lines and moving up the paper towards the top until you get to the thumb. This part can be a little tricky and you may find your line leaning downwards. That's okay. You will get them straighter as you go up. This does not have to be perfect. The main thing is to get a good arching line on the handprint part. When you get to the fingers, do the same thing except each finger gets its own arch. Then go straight across to the next finger and so on. If you're not satisfied with the result, you can erase the pencil and correct them as you go. This is why we are doing this in pencil first. The most difficult part of this project is ending the fingers. It's a bit of a struggle to find a way to get back to straight lines at the top once you get past the fingertips. After you get to the top and have drawn all the fingers, make a few more straight lines at the top to complete your drawing. You are done with the first part. Now, begin tracing over the pencil lines in Sharpie. Do not trace the outline of the hand and arm. Just trace the straight and arching lines. Before adding color to your optical art hand, you need to decide on a color scheme. Some good options are warm colors, cool colors, monochromatic colors, primary colors, secondary colors, rainbow colors, or analogous colors that are next to each other on the color wheel. After choosing your color scheme, you will start to fill in the sections between the black lines using a pattern of colors from your selected color scheme. You may use markers, colored pencils, highlighters, whatever you have. Make sure to repeat the same pattern of colors. Here are some examples of finished 3D op art hands. Get a piece of paper. Place your hand in the center of your paper. Make sure your fingers are inside of the paper, not outside. Lightly trace around your fingers, trying not to give yourself skinny fingers. Start your lines at the bottom of the page. Draw a straight line across. When you hit your hand outline, arch. And then a straight line to the edge of the paper. You will repeat this straight line till you hit your hand outline. Draw an arched line, then a straight line out. Try to keep these lines evenly spaced. Again, here are some examples after you add color.